Hey everybody, it is Stealth Camp O'Clock, and today I'm going to be doing a fairly lengthy 20-mile ride out to a pretty secluded remote area, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this week will go a little bit better than the last stealth camp that I had. On that one, everything turned into a complete nightmare. I had somebody roaming around by my house, at least passing by. I had mosquitoes, I had everything out, some rain. It just turned into a nightmare. So I'm hoping for a win this week. So I'm going to run into a few obstacles along the way. Number one is I'm going to hit a busy highway road, not like an overpass highway or anything like that, but it's still going to be pretty busy, and it's going to be about 3/4 of a mile that I'll have to go down that. My only other route is to go about 10 miles out of the way, of which I could cross that road otherwise, which may one day be something that I plan on doing. But that would add 20 total miles to my entire ride, which means I'd have to take a battery along with me just in case I was going to, run out, just because of how far I'd be riding out there. So I'll be hitting the highway, and it shouldn't be too bad. I'm only going to be on it for 3/4 of a mile, and then I'll be getting turned off to the road that I want to be going down. Once I hit that next road that I'm going to be going on, that's just going to be riding that all the way to the end. Like literally on that road all the way till there's nothing, nowhere else for it to go. And then that's where my stealth camp will start, is at the end of that. There is going to be a gate down there. I'm going to have to look at how to approach getting past the gate. So we'll explore those options when they come. And hopefully there won't be any people out there. As one of my other videos, if you saw it, there was like a person that was out near a gate that I was going to, but luckily that person left in that video. In this case, who knows? We're just going to have to find out what's going to happen when I get out there. Could be somebody out there, could be nobody. There is also a house that is semi-nearby, so hopefully I won't see anybody out by that house that sees me go down that road, who would then possibly see me trying to go around or over a gate or anything like that too. So that's another thing I'll have to be cautious of once I arrive to that destination. But once I get past that, it looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward at that point. I might have to cross a little bit of a creek. We'll find out how deep that is once I'm out there. Hopefully it won't be anything too overwhelming with the water rushing or anything like that. I really doubt it with this time of year. It hasn't rained for quite some time. So I don't expect that's going to be a problem. And another thing I'm going to have to be cautious of, this is going to be closer to the mountains, so there might be more rattlesnake activity out there, more than I would like. So it is a chance that I'll see a rattlesnake. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be anything else out there. All right, I am currently 6.6 miles in. There you go. And this is a good spot to stop and just check the bike over once again, just to make sure everything looks good. So far everything's holding up well. I don't have any straps going loose or anything like that. I tried to put them in places where, they're not going to fall apart, hopefully. And I got my coat up here. Everything's looking good. I am going to be coming up to that busy road, not too much longer here. So once I get up there, we'll see how that goes. I keep forgetting to put on sunscreen. I thought of it while I was riding over and then forgot, and I was going to do it when I stopped. So I'm going to do that now while I'm thinking of it. Right now I am 7.3 miles in. Sunscreen situation taken care of. Time to roll. Alright, so just up ahead of me is that busy road I was talking about. So what I'm going to end up doing is getting up to it. I'm hoping to cross to the other side of the road, because where I'm going to be needing to get to is on the other side of the road. And there should be a big shoulder on this one, like enough that I can ride off onto the side of. So I shouldn't be like in the way, and I'm going to try to stay off to the side as much as I can, considering the amount of traffic that's on that road. All right, that's rare. I was able to just ride right across. So I'm going to have to stay on this road just for a little bit. And I'm going to go a little bit faster on this road as well. going to do the best that I can to stay off to the side here. On this road, I'm riding all the way to the end of it. It's about 8 miles or so, and I'm riding until basically it ends. .2 miles in, and now I've reached the point of the road where you can see that there are now more cows than there are people out here. So that's good for me for traffic and everything like that. I don't feel like I'm as in the way now. So not too much longer. I'll be getting up near the end of this road, and then that's where the stealth camping will begin. Quick stop here to point out that we found a Wookiee Road. I wonder if Chewbacca's down there somewhere. You probably just saw that I passed the not a through road sign. So not too much further, my road's going to be ending here. So I've reached the point where I'm roughly maybe, at a guess, like maybe half a mile from where this road will end. Just up ahead you can actually see that it's a gravel road. I do think there might be a house up here to the right, up in this area. So I'm hoping to not see any people out around there, and hopefully nobody will see me. But the next thing is to keep going down here, and then I should be reaching a gate at the end of this. And then once I get to that gate, you know, our next step is to figure out how to get past that. Alright, the good news is it looks like it's clear up here. Not too much further up ahead is the end of the road, and I'm not seeing what looks like anybody out here. So that's good. I did just pass by an area that was more of like a barn and stuff over there, so maybe not so much of a house, or maybe the house was back a little bit. But from what I can tell, I didn't take like too much of a look, but I didn't see anybody around. All right, well, we have reached the end of the road here. There is nothing else out here. And so the next obstacle is tackling this. So where I want to actually go, I'm going to camp somewhere out in this region. I'm not really sure. I mean, once I get out past this, looks like there's nothing out there. So I should be able to follow some trails and ride out here for a ways. But I got to get past this gate. And I guess my options are either to go over it. There's spots over there with barbed wire and stuff. It's a low fence. Go under it, maybe here, which is possible. Or what I'll do is maybe I'll just go out along here and see if maybe it will trail off down there and end. And maybe there'll be a low point that I can get past. So let's go take a look, see what I can find. Also wanted to show here that apparently I was right on spot. This was 20 miles exactly, getting right to where I stopped here. All right, time to do some off-roading here. See what it looks like. This area is pretty bumpy. And I'm going to definitely have some foxtails out here. I should have worn some taller boots. I considered it, but for whatever reason, then I didn't. So now I'll regret that. Alright, following the fence, it looks like, I almost biff it there. It looks like the barbed wire is falling down in some areas. So it might be possible to get over those areas there. I'm gonna go all the way to the end here and just see if there's maybe a lower spot. So see what I'm looking at right now. You can see the barbed wire's been knocked over in that area. So those are definitely possible places that might be a little bit easier for me to get over. Though this bike is extremely heavy with all this gear on it, so it still would be a challenge to do so. Actually, I think I just found my spot right here. Look ahead there, and you can see that there is an extremely low spot coming up. What I'm going to do first, though, before going there, let's move this barbed wire out of the way that's down right here. I don't want to run over this by any means, so I'm going to move that aside. And now we'll walk the bike over here. I'm going to see if I can get the bike over this without, looks like somebody else has been down this trail at one point. You can see right there. But I'm going to see if I can get the bike over this without removing everything off of it, but it's going to be really heavy doing so. Unless I want to try to move some of these rocks, maybe. That might be kind of an option too. So, you know what? Yeah, let's move some of the rocks here a little bit, and that will get me through here. I keep looking behind me just to make sure I don't see any cars coming down there or any people or anything like that, but it's looking clear, so we're good there. Here's what I did a little bit. I just shifted things around. This bigger rock here I moved over, and I think I can get over this now, so that shouldn't be too bad of an area to climb the bike over. But let's find out how it goes. All right, the bike is very heavy with all this stuff on it. Well, let's see. I'm actually gonna use the bike and have it move itself a little bit, if it can. Move the pedals here. All right. Yeah, rear tire is just kind of spinning on the rocks, so that's not working like I want it to. Okay, well, that was a bit of a challenge. This thing's really heavy with all this stuff on it, but I was able to get over it. Yeah, it looks like there's some trails here. Possibly other people have gone down this. So we'll just kind of follow those and see where it goes. I do know there's a barn up here, like an old abandoned barn it looks like. So we'll check that out next. I just found out I'm gonna have to watch it riding out here. If I put my pedal down too far, I'm gonna ram into a rock. So I'm just gonna kind of throttle my way slowly through here. There's a number of, whoops, just like that, number of larger rocks out here that I can hit. Hey, here's some firewood right here if I wanted it. That house is right up on that hill there. Again, I'm pretty far out here. I don't think they can see me very well unless they're looking, but they might be able to look out here and see some kind of movement. And I'm not sure if that house would be the one that would own the property out here. So that's the kind of thing I've got to be cautious of right now, is if somebody over there is eyeing me right now and seeing me moving through here. So I'm gonna move my way as quickly as I can to at least get somewhere where I'm gonna be covered and they won't see me, hopefully. There should be a dip up here pretty soon in this hill, and then I'll be hidden in. Coming up to that barn, it's going to be off to the left here. Oh, this is good. I actually found the roadway. And I'll feel a lot better once I'm down here where I won't be seen as well. And there we go. Yeah, there's an old barn up there. I don't think that I'm going to go up and check it out or anything like that. It looks like it's kind of locked up there. But maybe I'll do a flyover with the drone, kind of take a peek in there from an overhead and just see if there's anything that's in there. Well, I've reached right now what looks like an area that I'm going to have to be figuring out how I want to cross it. Some water here. It doesn't look too deep. You can see areas over here. I can maybe kind of cross that, but it's going to be kind of bumpy. I'm honestly thinking just probably right here. It's not too deep of just crossing it. I'm going to take my shoes off, take my socks off. That way I don't get them wet if I have to drop my feet down into this. But I should just be able to take the bike right across here, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. What I'm going to do right now is send the drone up, take a look at that barn, and I want to take a look at where I'm going out in this direction just to take, just to take a peek at what's coming up. Because somewhere out there is where I want to do my stealth camp. But I just want to, get an idea of what it looks like out there first. Well, I just realized something after doing my drone footage and all that good stuff. Apparently wasn't being too observant. What do you see this might be missing from here? My entire bag on my bike here is completely gone. So I've got to backtrack now and hope that I didn't lose that way back there somewhere. I'm hoping just up here where it was bumpy, maybe where I came in up there or something like that. I somehow completely missed that, and I don't know how. So I better go backtrack and find out where the heck my bag went. I thought it was tied down, and apparently I didn't hear it or anything. So I'm hoping it's just back here, one of these really bouncy areas, and maybe I just lost it right there. Well, I'm definitely relieved. Looks like it's just right up here. Yeah, as soon as I started hitting a lot of these bumpy areas, it must have just fallen off on me and I didn't even hear it. Here it is. Let's find out now if I got all my straps and everything on it, because that part I don't know yet. And hopefully, let's see. Well, I got one. The other strap is who knows where at this point. Maybe I could send the drone up and take a look for it. But for now, it looks like I'm going to be getting by with just one. Well, good old drone comes in handy again. As you can see right there, there it is. So let's go back and get the strap and try to make this bag cinch down a little bit more than it was. This is why I like to do a bag check, periodically, just for that case that something like that might happen. These rocks are killing me. All right, drone is flying right up here, and somewhere in this area, there it is, saw my strap. I mean, I knew if I backtrack long enough, I was eventually going to find it anyway. Here we go. Well, that thing comes in handy, I can say that. All right, well, round two. I think the bag is well attached this time. I have this other one here, which really isn't doing anything, but just in case. And my plan right now is just to get kind of up near the road there and take that instead. This area is so bumpy. Well, as you can tell, I mean, it was bumpy enough that my bag completely fell off, even though it's strapped down, and I didn't even notice. I was hoping the alternate path was a little bit less bumpy, but not really. I'm still hitting a crazy number of bumps. Okay, I'm glad to be back to something that you can call a road. Well, that just gave me way more time than I wanted to be out in the open out there, but it is what it is. I had to go back for my bag regardless, and I figured it couldn't be too far. I mean, for sure, before I was filming near the gate up there, I knew at that point I had my bag attached. I saw it. Well, if you know of a better way of going about this, I'd love to hear about it, but with me just being out here, this is what I'm going to be doing. So bike needs to cross over there in some way. So what I'm doing, taking my shoes off, I'm gonna walk across it here first, see how that is. Oh, let's see, how cold is it? Nah, it's not too bad. And I just want to see how deep it's gonna get in here. Let's see. Yeah. If I kind of go this direction here with the bike, I think I'll be okay. Kind of follow along this. Yeah, this right here gets to be kind of the deepest area, but it's reasonable though. My pants may have just got slightly wet there. And then we're going to come out over here. So what I'm going to do, set the camera up over here so you can watch this catastrophe firsthand and see what happens. Trying not to dunk my drone into the water here. That would not be good. All right. Well, almost there. Hit one little obstacle right here at the end. There's a large rock. And the bike, even under power, doesn't want to go over it very well. Come on. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, I'd say I made it at this point. So now to get my shoes and everything back on, and we'll keep going. All right, well now that the creek has been crossed and I got my shoes back, let's see how the rest of this handles here. Still a little bit of rock here that are a minor hurdle to cross. Okay. So now that we're on the other side, I guess the next thing is to find out how far I want to go on this and find out where I want to set up camp for tonight. I'm going to show you a Google Earth view of what it looks like for me right now. So here's where I came from. There's where the barn is, down there. You can see that. And if we follow the trail right here, you can see that's as far as I'm at right there so far. So it looks like this goes up a little ways and then maybe comes back around and maybe goes back into somewhere over here. So maybe I'll just follow this road and then set up camp maybe somewhere in this area, in this region here. That honestly to me looks like it could be a pretty decent spot. So let's go check that out. I'm actually thinking of veering off the trail here a little bit and checking out maybe somewhere in this direction. Just because it is starting to get, a little bit dark. I just want to make sure I have enough time to get my stuff set up. And this area doesn't look like it's too weedy or anything. It's got some rocks and stuff out here, but nothing too bad. So somewhere out here might be pretty good, honestly. Let's go check it out. Well, at this point, I'm really just trying to look for somewhere that has some flat ground that I can put my tent on. And that area might be possibly somewhere down here. Maybe by this tree here. This actually looks pretty good if I put it kind of back behind this tree. I'm not too worried about staying, not visible from the trail back there or anything like that. I really don't see anybody coming out here, especially not through the night. Maybe in the morning there might be somebody passing by, possibly, but chances are I find that very doubtful. So I think I found my spot. Now to just go ahead and start getting everything set up. Maybe somewhere, like I'm thinking right around here somewhere. Might be pretty good. I can see a pretty nice sunset over there. Just on the other side of that hill, though, so I can't see all of it, but I can see enough that it looks pretty good. So I wanted to show you what my campsite now looks like set up. Got my chair, my table, cooler there, and I'm going to have my dinner in a little bit. And there's my tent and everything. Bike is here. I don't see any point in doing any camouflaging or anything like that. Nobody's coming out here, the road's right up there, and it's not like you're going to see me no matter what. Let's just do a little bit of a walk out here and just see what it looks like. I'm also trying to be cautious again of rattlesnakes and things like that might possibly be out here. So I'm watching my step a little bit. But I'll hold the camera up as I watch down and check for that. Here's what looks like a little bit of a creek area here that's been dried up. The creek that I passed is just up there a little ways. I can actually just hear the water flowing just a little bit. I didn't want to get right on top of it just because of the mosquitoes. There's a few that are over here bugging me a little bit, not too much. But after my last camp area that I went to where there was like 1,000 bugs, I'm trying to avoid that as much as I can. Let's do a little walk over here. This looks like it was interesting enough that was burnt up at some point. Wonder when that was. I'm still debating if I want some kind of a campfire tonight. I feel like if I set one up somewhere, even somewhere down like in these rocks or something like that, or even up near my campsite, there's some rocky areas here, and I could build, there's enough rock piles here that I can build a little site if I want to. And there's some wood that I can gather off these trees, pieces like this as well, if I want to chop that up a little bit. So I'm debating that. I still might do that then. Let's go take a look up here though. See, like areas like this is a rocky area. If I put a little, like a little area for a campfire here, that actually may not be too bad, to be honest. And then I'll just have to scourge for some wood. It looks like there's some dead stuff on this tree. Down there I can cut up that piece back there that I got. And I'm sure there's some stuff up on these trees around where my campsite is here. So, you know what? I think actually I'm going to take a look at actually doing that. And doing it before it gets dark here. Well, I didn't expect to be having a fire, so I was rushing it a little bit to try to get some firewood chopped up. But here's what I got right here. And I can always get more through the night. These trees have a bunch of lower stuff that I can definitely pick off. And I haven't started the fire quite yet, but there's what my little fire pit looks like there. Not too far from my campsite, my tent that is, but far enough away that I won't be catching it on fire. Again, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. There is dry grass out here, but it's pretty spread out, and I'll keep this contained and I'll be watching it and, you know, make sure before I go to bed that it's out. I'm sitting here eating my dinner and I thought I spotted a light up here somewhere. I'm not seeing it right now, but I know that I just saw a light just a little bit ago. I don't know if I saw it from like maybe another road way up there, or if it's possible that somebody might be, I hope not, coming this direction. So I'll keep you updated if I see anything. As of right now, I'm not seeing any kind of light at all. But that was, I'd say like a couple minutes ago, I was sitting there eating and, oh, there it is, right there. You see it? I don't know if that's showing up for you. Now it's gone. Yeah, look, some kind of light lit up there for a moment. So, not sure what that's about. Maybe just somebody up there doing something. Well, I've been observing up there for a while, and I am not seeing any kind of light or anything coming back. So, I think I'm okay to start a fire now, hopefully. Or not go too crazy. All right, let's see how that goes. Now, the wood that I'm putting on here is pretty dry, so it should burn really well tonight. I don't have a whole lot of wood, but like I said, I just want to have just a little fire just to kind of go by for a while. I don't have a good pokey stick tonight, so I'm going to have to use my saw blade here and move stuff around using that. That's my bad. I know I should have got a good pokey stick. And I'm still watching over in that direction just to see, again, if I see any kind of light or anything like that. If I do, and it looks like it's going to be a problem, I'm going to put the fire out as soon as I could. If something, you know, does happen to come up. The nice thing is I am over, you know, kind of below a hill over there. So with the fire being at ground level, anything that's up on that other hill that was way back there where you might have saw that light, should have a difficult time seeing the fire. As long as, again, if I keep it lower and contained down, I don't think anybody's going to see anything. And this should be an enjoyable fire to have for the evening. Well, now we got the fire going, and I just had my dinner. I think it's time to have a Dr. Pepper. It's still really cold too. That is good. I walked over here to show that you can see town over there. You can see the lights off in the distance just a little bit. Let me hold the camera up. Maybe you can see them just a little bit better, like that. Yeah. So here's my spot now that's coming at night, what it looks like. I'm going to get back to my fire over there, but first let's stop by my bike real quick. I just want to see what the temperature is out here. Let's see. Temperature right now says it is 72 degrees. And I don't imagine that it will get any cooler than maybe like the upper 50s or so tonight. So it should be a pretty good night actually. Bugs have gone away now. Nothing's out here. I do hear some turkeys periodically doing their turkeying somewhere out in the direction behind my campfire here. So I might hear them tonight, and maybe you'll hear them as well if I get them on camera. But so far, this is a really nice spot. A little of a challenge to get to, given that I have to get over a gate and go through a bumpy field and cross a creek. But once you get past all that, it's a pretty nice spot. Another thing I didn't mention, the distance here was about 21.5 miles total. It is 11:04 right now, and I'm pretty tired. I'm ready to go to bed. The fire is out, pretty much out there now. You may not be able to see it, but it's down to practically nothing. I'm just going to leave my cooler and my chair out there. Bike will just stay here close to me. Again, I see no reason to lock it up or anything. There's no one and nothing out here at all. And yeah, ready to get into the tent. I'm just going to put my shoes aside over there and crawl in here. Show you my final setup here. I'm just going to leave this open tonight. Hopefully nothing will come up out here and stand like right here next to me, because it's going to scare me to death if I look out here and see like Sasquatch out here tonight. I got my pillow back here. I just put my sweatshirt, because I don't need my sweatshirt on right now. Just kind of wrapped it around it just for some extra padding. Blanket, just a thin blanket here. It's going to be warm. You know, not too bad tonight. And it's something I'm going to test. I don't really need this fan going up here, but later on in the summer, once it starts getting really hot and the nights will stay in the 80s, I'm probably going to want a fan with me. So I'm going to test this out tonight and just let it kind of run and just see how long it runs. It's running off, it has its own internal battery, but it's also just going to run off this other one up here as well. So we'll see how it is. Maybe it'll run through the night. If I even need it, I might eventually cool down enough that I won't even need that at all. So it's just kind of a test run for it at least, and see how I like it. So anyway, this has been a real easygoing stealth camp so far, and hopefully it continues that way through the rest of this night. I'll update you if anything comes up. Otherwise, good night. See you in the morning. Good morning. That was a really good night's sleep last night. I'd say that might even be like the best night's sleep that I've had in ever with any of these stealth camps. Not that I've had too many yet, but it was really good. Nothing disturbed me in any way whatsoever. I didn't have to wake up for anything, so it was just good. I did have a weird dream. I'd have that periodically anytime I do a camp, though. It seems like it was really strange. Like, it was like I was out in a spot kind of like this, and then a bunch of people like walked up on me, and I saw one of them had like a rifle, and I was like, oh crap, these people they're up to no good. And then like I woke back up and I was like, oh, that was just a dream. And for some reason, well, during the dream also I had my camera out and I was filming it, being like, oh, there's people coming towards my camp, this is not good. I went through my camera, you know, after I supposedly woke back up, and I was reviewing my footage. I was going through it and I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. And then suddenly I found the footage of the people, and then like I started panicking, being like, oh wait, the people, that actually was real. So I was starting to like pack all my stuff up and trying to figure out how the heck I was going to get out of it. And it was weird. It was a really weird dream, but I get those sometimes where like people will wander up on me while I'm out camping like this. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's a common thing that happens for people. I don't know. But other than that weird dream, everything went great. There were just some clouds that came in. I was kind of thinking it might rain a little bit last night, just given the fact that it was very cloudy and it got pretty windy at one point. So I was kind of preparing to see what I can do to get everything set up for rain if I needed to, but rain never came. Oh, that's good. Clouds passed over. They're going over the mountains now, and that just kind of came and went. So I would say this is a great spot. I mean, I've seen absolutely nobody out here. I've heard no cars. I've seen nothing. This is probably the most secluded spot you can possibly ask for once getting out to it. So I think at this point, time to start packing my stuff up and working my way out of here again. I haven't showed my cooler set up here. So I just keep some milk in a regular water bottle just because it's nice to have in the morning. And I have some cookies last night and stuff like that I use it with as well. So I already had about like half of that. This is also where I keep some of my Dr. Peppers. You can see how I keep my ice packs around it here. I just keep a few in there. And then I have some stuff that I throw over the top that just kind of helps keep the cooling down, maybe. I don't know. I figure it's better than nothing in there. So far it seems to be working pretty well, and we'll see how it is once it starts getting really hot and, you know, days that are maybe the high 90s or even 100s, and see how this holds up. It is that time to check the campsite over and make sure I didn't forget anything and make sure I collected on any kind of trash I have and all that stuff. So here's where my tent was. I laid out right here. Looks good and clean there. The bike is all prepped and ready to go. Straps are on there as tight as I can get them. And over here is where my campfire was. I actually spread the rocks and everything out. So once this ash over here disappears, there'll be no signs of anybody ever being here. Exactly how I want it. Well, there we go. So now comes the fun task of riding on out of here. I'm sitting at 1,880 total miles on this bike, and I've almost had this bike for a year at this point. In fact, let's see, today is May 17th. I think I got my bike May 20th of 2024 of last year. So I'll be at, you know, pretty close to 2,000 miles here pretty soon. That's pretty good. And I'm pretty rough on this bike too, as you can see from, you know, from my videos and the way that I do riding. It's not normal. So I'll give props to the company Lectric for making a good quality bike that has been holding up at least through everything that I've been putting through so far. And we'll see how it handles getting me back home today. So let's go. And I mostly have to throttle through this section because if I pedal, there's enough rocks back there that when I started pedaling, I just go over the top of one of them. All right, well, back onto what you might call the roadway. This road was pretty bumpy here, but it got better as I went on. And now it gets a lot better from this point on. Really good visibility today. I can see all the way to the mountains across the other side there. So not hazy or not smoky or anything like that. Makes it for a really nice day. Well, back to the water challenge. All right, well, I'll show you here real quick. I got my shoes kind of somewhat attached here in case they fall off. I'm hoping they don't fall into the water. That's kind of my lazy approach to doing it. And you know, I look like backwoods Billy now or something, trying to cross the stream. All right, well, let me get the kickstand up and let's see how it goes. This time you get a first-person perspective if I fall into the water, which I'm really hoping doesn't happen. I can already see my pants are not going to stay where they want, and they're probably going to fall in the water and get wet. Whatever. That's fine. I see some fish down there, tiny ones. Let me move the pedals. Okay, I'll move the pedals so there's less chance of them hitting. Oh, this feels colder today than it did yesterday. All right, we made it. I actually feel like that was a little bit easier going that way than the other direction. My secondary battery was sitting like almost at water level, like it was right at the bottom of it, but it didn't go underneath. So that is about the maximum depth of water that I would ever want to go through. So good to know. Round two of getting over the gate. See how it is. I'm gonna have to lift the back of the bike, which has all my gear in it, and it's not light. Okay, I think that also went a lot easier than yesterday as well. I'm going to, let's see here. I want to attempt to put this back how it was. I didn't really move too much, to be honest. So I'm going to put that there and then move this little rock kind of up there, just to kind of try to have it somewhat close to how I found it here. And now I get back to the road. This part was also pretty bumpy, and there's also a bunch of foxtails and stuff here, so I might take a moment once I get out of this field to pick those out of my socks and my shoes. Well, there's one last look in the direction that I went. Of course, I went through over there instead. Doing a strap check. Oh, these straps are on here really good this time. So nothing's bad there. Everything's holding here. And let's see. Not too much stuff in my shoes. I had some boots I was going to wear instead, but for some reason I just decided not to. That would have been a better choice, I think. And checking the bike as well for junk that it's got in its gears and everything like that. A little bit of stuff there, a little bit of stuff there. All right, I think we're ready to go. coming back up to the busy highway again. So we'll see if I can cross that as easily this time as I did yesterday. Had to wait for a moment, but in all, not for too long though. Well, not much else happens for the rest of the ride home. It all went smoothly as it could possibly go, so that's really good. Thank you for joining me if you did. Next week, I'm not sure what I'll do. I was kind of thinking of doing a longer trip, doing like a 30-mile ride and seeing what the limits of my batteries that I have on it are, and then adding an external battery to my bike as well that I'll have to take with me just in case I run out completely. But I don't know if I'll do that one or do something else. It's kind of unknown to me. But either way, this stealth camp went incredibly well. And again, yeah, thank you for joining me if you did. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I look forward to doing many more stealth camps and many more rides to come. Here's the cats. Hey. Hey. Jimmy and Billy. You're happy I'm home, huh? Oh, you're so happy. All right, let's get some treats. You can sit on me for the rest of the day if you want. All right?